Join us for this week's One Man's Dreamboat segment with Florida Sportsman boating editor George Labonte as we feature anglers who have already launched their dream. Florida Sportsman began these features 30 years ago, and the dreams just keep getting better.
This week we go to Singer Island to meet up with Tony Chipolov and his wife to take a look at a boat that I think you're really going to enjoy. Tony had always dreamed about having some type of an old classic boat, but never owning a boat and having zero boat building experience. He didn't really know how he was going to make that happen. Tony's also a big fan of Project Dreamboat, and one day he happened upon an old derelict boat sitting on the ground next to a dumpster, and the first thing that went through his mind is, I think I can do something with this boat. A crazy restoration ensued.
I always kind of had a feeling that I want to rebuild an old classic boat, but I did some numbers and it wasn't something that was applicable in terms of feasibility. Then we got the little inflatable, fully inflatable dinghy, and we took it to the Keys, and in the Keys we fell in love with the, with patch reefs, and it was unbelievable. But you can only take it so far, Then I sold it, and this came along. At the day when I was picking it up, I started picking and poking, and trying to realize, trying to see what kind of, what am I dealing with, basically. And I started ripping the fiberglass because it was just coming off like paper. And I discovered a whole bunch of ants, termites, and anything you think of in terms of dirt and dust, and it was nightmare, honestly. Probably the most difficult part about this whole build was getting this thing clean and prepared for the actual fun part, At the end of the demo, I literally ended up with just bare hull. It was just really nothing in it. And from that point on, I started thinking and planning.
Now this was going to be a really daunting task for Tony since he had zero boat building experience, but he turned to the internet, and through the help of YouTube videos and some boating forums, he got a lot of advice and dove in head first.
For somebody that don't know, the planning and dwelling on one simple task could be weeks, because you really need to figure it all out on your own, on how to build a stringer, for instance. I've never done it. What I did is I did the forms, and then I poured 8-pound density foam in them forms, and basically then structured them at perfect level with the boat for the flooring. What I have here now is complete overkill in terms of the string, because each stringer is around 2 inches wide, and it's reglassed on 1708 fiberglass twice over, so it's really, really strong, After the flooring was installed, I did the 2-pound density foam. I completely filled it from back to front, so it's like a big surfboard underneath it.
The original configuration of the boat, a runabout type of boat, was not going to work for Tony. This gave him the opportunity to design a boat with a deck layout that was going to work for exactly what he had in mind to use the boat for.
I did the plan on my computer with the drawing of, remeasured everything to the inch, and then I planned it. I had like what I want to have for my tank, for my area where I wanted to walk around with, and the back. So I kind of planned every single inch of it on the computer first, design it. I wanted to see how it's gonna be, how it's gonna lay out first, And then from that point on, I just go ahead and went and do it by the plan that I had, basically.
Now it was time to paint. Tony found this a little bit intimidating at first, but he went to the paint store and dove right in, and he fearlessly tackled it just like he did the rest of the boat. You couldn't believe it was his first job.
The paint was, it was crazy, because when I flipped this boat and I started to scrape off all the like 5 or 6 layers of different color of paints on this thing, and some of them paint came off really, really easy. Some I had to grind off completely with the sander, and then basically faired as much as I could all the imperfections, and re-gel coated the whole thing. And you look at it and like, oh my God, this is it. I'm getting closer and closer to where I want to be, So it was a big motivation. That was drive to go forward, to get this thing finished. throughout this whole build, you know, my dad would pass by and I would just say, I would knock on it and say, it's strong as a rock, you know? And he would look at me, it's probably gonna sink too, you know? Just like a rock. So when we first launched this thing, it was unbelievable because you could see the boat missed water so much, you know, it had this sort of live feeling to it, you know?
This boat ran great, sat in the water great, looked great. Man, he definitely got lucky when he put this thing in the water and he got exactly what he wanted.
This was for my specific purpose, to go in the Keys and just have fun on flats. And on a flat day to go out offshore. That's pretty much where I wanted to do it. Bigger boat, possibly in the future, but for now I'm happy with this and we'll see where it's gonna take me.
Tony's boats, dumpster days were behind her, and this clean machine sitting in the water begged for attention. We decided he'd appreciate a gift from our friends at Surehold. For a lot of people out there that might be intimidated by doing this kind of work, if you've ever dreamed about doing a job like this, it can be done. Any man can do it, and Tony sure showed us that you can do a great job on top of everything.
After spending $5,000 on repairing and customizing the hull and $8,900 on an engine, the cost of Tony's Dreamboat comes to a total of approximately $13,900.